Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the guide as we continue converting Lexy's legacy of the Dragonborn to run in VR. In this episode, we're going to start by replacing Sksc plugins with the VR equivalent, and if they don't have VR equivalents, we're going to remove them. So the very first thing we're going to do, of course, is install Sksc Vr. But we're going to download the version bot expired from his Patreon page. You can find the download link and all other download links in the description below. So when you come to his page, when you click on the download link, it'll take you to this page. Scroll down here and click on this right here. Click, and that's where you'll download it from. After you've done that, we're going to install the scripts first. Click on this button here in the Mod Organizer 2. Install a new mod from an archive. Go to your download folder and click on Sksc Vr. Open that up. Right click, set as data directory. Then right click on data, set that as data directory. And yeah, I'm just going to leave this as Sksc Vr. And then click OK. Okay, then after you've installed it, place it directly underneath the Sksc scripts that we had here. And activate it, and then deactivate the special edition version of Sksc scripts. Alright, now let's install the second half of Sksc Vr. So open up your download folder, locate Sksc Vr, open it, go into it, and then open up your shortcut to your Steam folder, locate Skyrim VR. And by the way, it would be a great idea to have a fresh install of Skyrim VR if you haven't already. And once you've located your Skyrim VR folder, go back to the zip file that we just downloaded. And then you want to select Sksc loader, the Steam_loader, and Sksc.dll. So the two DLLs and one executable. Then drag that into your Skyrim VR folder. Okay. Sksc Vr is now installed. Alright, the next thing we're going to install is Shadowmen's DLL loader, and we need this so that the Skyrim VR version of the Skyrim skill encapper will function. So click on Files and download the DLL loader. After you've done that, open up your download folder and then open up the DLL loader. Then open up your Steam shortcut. Locate Skyrim VR right there. And now you can drag the data folder and the dinput8.dll, and you're just going to drag that into Skyrim VR. Done. Easy peasy. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make Skyrim VR run well with unofficial Skyrim Special Edition patch. And we're going to do that by using Skyrim VR USEP 4.2, this long name here. But don't worry, even though this says USEP 4.2.2, this will make Skyrim VR work with every version of unofficial Skyrim Special Edition patch. So go into Files here, click on Manual Download. After you've done that, open up your download folder, and open up that zip file for Skyrim VR USEP. Now go back into your Steam shortcut, go into Skyrim VR, locate the data folder, and drag in Skyrim VR patchmaker.exe into the data folder here. Alright, now you can close out that zip file and your download folder. Now what we're going to do from here, we're going to go into that data folder of Skyrim VR, and now let's run Skyrim VR patchmaker.exe and let it do its thing. Okay, successfully added 52 of 52 modified files. Great. Okay, let's go and close that out. And here it is. And what we're going to do from here is we're going to install it like it's another mod. But first, I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to paste it in my downloads folder just so it's easier for me to locate with Mod Organizer 2. So there it is, Skyrim VR Core USEP. You can go and close it out. Now click on Install a new mod from an archive. Then select Skyrim VR Core USEP, this right here, the compatibility zip. Open it up. And we'll leave that name as it is. This mod contains at least one BSA. Do you want to unpack it? No. Okay, place it after cleaned vanilla ESMs up here. Activate it, then deactivate cleaned vanilla ESMs. Then go down to the bottom of your plugin pane here, and you'll see Skyrim VR.esm. Just nudge it up. And make sure this is actually placed all the way at the top before unofficial Skyrim Special Edition patch. You want it in here. Priority number 5. Now, having done that, what do we gotta do? We have to run the Sse Edit quick clean on Update, Dawnguard, Hearthfire, and Dragonborn again. And basically what you're going to do is just follow the instructions on Lexy's Legacy of the Dragonborn, the prerequisites page. Clean the Bethesda ESMs. Except you are not going to create a separate folder for the cleaned ESMs. We're just going to clean them where they sit here in this folder here. You open it up here. You see all the replacers for Dawnguard, Dragonborn, Hearthfire, and the update.esm. These are all the Skyrim VR versions here, and they were modified so that they work very well with unofficial Skyrim Special Edition patch. So let's go ahead and clean them. So go into drop down, Sse Edit, quick auto clean, click run, and we're going to go down the line, starting with update. All right, great. When that's done, go ahead and close it out. And move on to the next one. Sse Edit quick clean, run. All right, now we're doing Dawnguard. All right, and when that's done, you can close it out. Next one. Hearthfire. Okay. And when it's finished, go ahead and close that out. Alright, then finally, we're going to clean Dragonborn. Okay. Alright, and then when that's done, close it out. And now we have to do the manual Xedit cleaning of Dawnguard.esm. So, drop down menu, Sse Edit, click run. And all we need to select is Dawnguard, so right click, select none. Choose Dawnguard and OK. So let's expand Dawnguard. Then we're going to expand cell. We're going to go into block 5, sub block 3, and we're going to locate this right here, 001 6BCF. And then we're going to scroll down and locate XEZN encounter zone. And up here where it's Dawnguard.esm, right click and remove. Yes. Then next up, we're going into block 2, sub block 1, and what we're going to do here is we're just going to remove this. We're going to remove CW guard templates. Just right click here and remove. Okay, so now let's go into block 8, and then for sub block 1, we're just going to delete the entire sub block. Remove. Yes. Then close it out. Make sure Dawnguard is checked and OK. And that's it. Skyrim VR should run well with USEP. But there is one follow-up to that. If you plan on using bound daggers, you're going to want to install this mod because it introduces a bug. Whenever you summon a bound dagger, the game will crash. So you're going to install this and it'll fix that problem. Piece of cake. So mod manager download. And then install it. Bound dagger CTD fix. Alright, then go ahead and activate it. But this is actually a very simple mod. This is just a plugin here. And to spare the plugin slot, this is what I want you guys to do. Drag bond dagger fix. We'll drag that plugin above conflict resolution. And then open up Sse Edit. And load your entire mod list. No mod groups, thanks. Now let's go all the way down here, and then go into Bound Daggers Fix, right click it. And then what you want to do is right click on Weapon here. Copy as override, deep copy as override into, yes, I'm absolutely sure. And copy it into conflict resolution. So just tick the box next to Lexy's Legacy of Dragonborn Omega conflict resolution and click OK. Then go ahead and close it out. Make sure conflict resolution is checked and click OK. And now you could deactivate that mod. And that spares us that extra plugin. In fact, I'm going to remove it. Alright, great. Moving on. Alright, so in your left pane, go all the way up to your Essential Skse Plugins section. And we have to start removing some stuff. So first thing up is NetScript Framework. There is no VR version, unfortunately, so we have to deactivate that. Alternate Conversation Camera. Doesn't work in VR and doesn't make sense in VR. So let's get rid of that. And unfortunately, Address Library for Skse plugins. There is no VR equivalent and this does not work. So we have to deactivate that and all the other mods that need this as a requirement, unfortunately. Okay, Better Combat Escape. There is no VR equivalent. Bug fixes. Got to get rid of that. Console Commands Extender does not work. Console Utilities, SSE. No good. Copy and paste in console. That just works in Skyrim VR. It doesn't need. You do not need a mod for it. And anyways, this specific thing, Sksc plugin doesn't work. Enchantment Reload Fix doesn't work, and there's no VR equivalent. Face Discoloration. Gotta get rid of it. All right, fixed node icon for Sky UI. There is a VR version of that. So right-click and visit on Nexus. Go into Files. Scroll down until you see the Sksc VR version here. Download it. Okay, let's go ahead and install it. And let's make sure that this is named properly so it doesn't overwrite. So I'm just calling it VR. Fixed node icon for Sky UI VR. Don't worry about these equal signs here. I use this for my own organizational purposes for making these videos. Then okay. Okay, position it under the special edition version. Activate it and deactivate the one we're replacing. I'm walking here. Well, there's a VR version of that, and the download and the link to this mod is in the description below. So click on Files, Mod Manager Download, install it. I'm walking here VR. Good. Position it after the special edition version. Activate it. Deactivate the one we are replacing. Very good. This one, I have some regrets. I wish this worked in VR. This is such a useful tool, but there's no VR equivalent. Mum's the word. No VR equivalent. NPC AI process position fix. There's no VR equivalent. And patch for it. Gotta get rid of that. Private Profile Redirector SE. There is a VR version of this. So right click on that, visit on Nexus, go into Files, and there it is right there, the VR version. Download it. Then install it. But make sure you name it correctly. I'm naming it VR. Place it behind the special edition version, activate it, and deactivate the Skyrim special edition version. Simple offense suppression. There is a VR version of that. So let's download it and then install it. And I'm adding in VR at the end. Place it after the special edition version. Activate it, deactivate when we're replacing. Okay, next we're looking at stagger direction fix. No VR equivalent. Okay, Skyrim skill uncapper. There is a VR version of it. VR equivalent, rather. So go ahead and download it. This could be a manual download. Then after you downloaded it, click on install a new mod from an archive. Choose Skyrim skill uncapper for VR. And it is named correctly. Right click on data, set as directory, and then go ahead and click OK. Even though it says the content does not look valid, it's fine. Click OK. And we're going to ignore this. Place it after Skyrim Skill and Capper. Activate it. Deactivate Skyrim Skill and Capper. Let me endorse this. Okay. And even though it looks like it's an empty mod, it is not. It is installed correctly. It's just it's using a different file structure than Mod Organizer 2 is used to using, but it's fine. All right, spell perk item distributor. There is a VR version of it, so let's go and download that, and let's install it. Let's name it correctly, VR. Place it after the special edition version. Activate it. Deactivate the one we're replacing. Then going down, display tweaks. No VR. There is no VR equivalent. Okay, Sse Engine Fixes. So this is a two-part installation. The first part, part 1, we're gonna install it as if it's any other mod. So go and download it, save it. Then when it's downloaded, click on Install new mod from an archive. Choose Engine Fixes VR Part 1, open. And I'm just going to have it named Engine Fixes VR. Click OK. And as usual, place it after the Sse version of Engine Fixes. Activate it. Deactivate Sse Engine Fixes. Now download Part 2. Save Part 2. Then open up your download directory. Locate Engine Fixes Part 2. Open it. And go into your Steam shortcut. Locate Skyrim VR. Then drag these 3 .dlls into Skyrim VR. And then you're done with that. And then the rest of these Skse plugins do not have a VR equivalent, so deactivate them. So going down, experience, it sucks, but experience, there's no VR equivalent, so deactivate that. And then the Lexy's custom INI for it, deactivate that. But in the next video, when we're installing Skyrim VR specific mods, I have a possible replacement for this, which I actually use myself and I really like. So catch that in the next episode. Okay, now we're going to do it with Fuzrodo. There is a VR equivalent of it. The link for its download is in the description down below. After you've downloaded it, click on Install a new mod from an archive. Choose Fuzrodo VR. And make sure it's named properly. I'm just going to name it that. Click OK. Then place it after Fuzrodo. Activate the VR version, deactivate the Sse version. Now let's address better jumping. We're going to replace it with Sprint Jump VR because there's no VR equivalent of better jumping. So let's download Sprint Jump VR. Go ahead and install it. Place it after better jumping, activate it, deactivate better jumping. Alright, looking at To Your Face. To Your Face! There is a VR equivalent of it. So download To Your Face VR. Install it. And I'm just going to make sure it's named VR. Okay, placing it after To Your Face SE, and then I'm activating the VR version and deactivating the SE version. Very good. And now more HUD. There is a VR equivalent of this. So let's go and download that. And by the way, I wish this guy Zahab, the guy who created More HUD VR, he's also the one who created the regular More HUD for a special edition version. Please, man, please come out with the inventory edition for VR, please. Okay, after you download it, let's install it. More HUD VR. There is a BSA. We do not want to extract it. All right, place it after More HUD SE. Activate it. Deactivate the SE version. Okay, now we're looking at race menu, and thank God, but there is a VR version for this. Thank you, expired. And coincidentally, Expired's the one that also came out with the version of Sksc Vr that we're using. Okay, so let's download the Race Menu VR. And then install it. And we're naming it Race Menu VR. Alright, place it after Race Menu. Activate it. And deactivate Race Menu. Very good. Oh, wait a second. Let's go back to Race Menu real quick. We're not actually supposed to disable Race Menu. So reactivate Race Menu, go into Race Menu, open Explorer, and then delete the Skse folder. Okay, also we want to disable Dialog Menu Configurable. This doesn't work in VR. And also interface hard-coded key tweaks. This doesn't have a place in VR either, so deactivate that. Alright, moving on. We're looking at alternate start, live another life. There is no VR version of it, but we can still use this. All we have to do to make alternate start, live another life work in Skyrim VR is extract a BSA. That's it. So click on Archives, locate alternate start, live another life. Then we're going to extract both the textures.bsa and live another life BSA. So starting with textures, extract. From here, we're in Mod Organizer 2. Go to the mods folder. Then from here, type in alternate. For you, you would type in alternate. For me, I'm typing in equal. But here's alternate start. So choose alternate start, live another life. Select folder. And now we're gonna do that with the regular alternate start, live another life BSA. So right click in here, extract. It's already in alternate start, live another life folder, and then select folder. Alright, then go into alternate start here, open an Explorer, and delete the BSAs. Oh, and as a follow-up for Skyrim Skill Uncapper VR, we're going to go into a mega updated all-in-one. Right-click, open Explorer, go into Sksc, plugins, and we're going to take the Skyrim Uncapper.ini. We're going to cut it. Then go up to Skyrim Skill Uncapper for VR Edition. Right-click on that, open an Explorer, go into plugins, go into someone, and paste. We want Skyrim Uncapper.ini to be with Skyrim Uncapper.dll. Okay, looking at Storm Lightning for SSE. We're gonna download the VR version for it. So go into Files, click on Storm Lightning for VR, the full mod. Download it. Then after you download it, let's install it. Let's make sure we're naming this correctly. For VR, we're choosing the Skyrim version here. And I also have Lexy's guides, instructions specific to this mod right here on the screen. So we're choosing the Skyrim VR version here, and then everything else is going to be the same as what Lexy has suggested here. But honestly, you could choose what you want. So level 0, Halo with dimmer lightning. Next, same thing here. Halo with dimmer lightning, level 0. Then for here, this one, select nighttime fork halo, level 1. And then select daytime fork. We're also going with level 1, and then install. Then place it after the SSE version, and then activate it and deactivate the SSE version. Enb Helper. If you're planning on using an Enb with Skyrim VR, you're going to want to replace this with the VR version. And if you're not going to use a VR Enb for Skyrim VR, then just disable it. But anyways, let's go ahead and download the Enb Helper if you're going to use the VR version. And let's go ahead and install it. Place it after the SE version. Activate it, deactivate the SE version. Concerning Skyrim particle patch for Enb, there is no VR specific version of it. So we're just going to keep using this one. It's the best option that we have. Right, here's looking at you, Dynamic Animation Replacer. Oh my god, I am so glad they have a VR version of this. So, Feliski 384, thank you so much. You are a god amongst insects. So, having said that, let's download the VR version. Let's install it. I'm choosing to name it this, Skyrim VR. Okay. Okay, you know what to do. Place it after Dynamic Animation Replacer. Activate the VR version. Deactivate the SE version. Okay, Cbp Physics with collisions. Another mod that I'm extremely happy has a VR version. And I'm not going to say why. You know why. Anyways, go ahead and download the FOMod, the main file here. And then let's install it. So obviously on the first page here, first of all, I'm going to add VR to the name. We're going to choose a Skyrim VR version of it. Next. Choose, we're going to still be using UNPB, so still choose UNPB. Next. We don't need the gravity config file. Install. Alright, then place it after the SE version. Activate it. Deactivate the SE version. Very good. Somehow I passed over SkyUI. A very, very important update that we need to do. So let's download the SkyUI VR version. So we're going to click on the beta the betas right here. The 4.7 Z. And like everything else, the download URL, the download link is in the description down below. Save it. Then from here, click on Install a new mod from archive. Choose SkyUI VR. Awesome. And then install it. Place it directly under SkyUI. Then activate it, deactivate SkyUI, and also deactivate SkyUI SE flashing save games fix and wider MCM menu for SkyUI. Alright, next up, we're going to make Frostfall and Campfire Skyrim VR compatible. So, let's download the zip file here, SkyUI VR and Frostfall patch. Let's save it. And then after it's downloaded, let's go ahead and install it. Click on the Install New Mod from Archive button here in Mod Organizer 2. Choose SkyUI VR Frostfall patch. Open that up. Name it appropriately, whatever you want. Then install it. And we want to place this directly after Campfire and Frostfall unofficial Sse update. Activate that. Alright, complete alchemy and cooking overhaul. For this, we are going to download the Sksc Vr DLL for it. So let's go and download that. Alright, then let's install it. And I'm going to name this VR DLL. Okay. And then place it directly after Complete Alchemy and Cooking Overhaul, and then activate it. But leave Complete Alchemy and Cooking Overhaul, leave that alone. Do not deactivate that. Okay, moving on down to Papyrus Utility. There is a VR version of it, so download it. It's right here in the miscellaneous file section of Papyrus Utilities. Let's go ahead and install it. Let's make sure it's named properly. Papyrus VR. Thank you. Then place it directly after Papyrus Utility SE. Activate that and deactivate the SE version. File access interface for Skyrim SE scripts, otherwise known as Fixes. There is a VR fix for it. And it's the Fixes DLL for VR. It's a DLL only, so we're going to download this. Then let's install it. Make sure it's named properly. Fixes DLL for VR. Okay. Place it directly after File Access Interface for Skyrim and activate it. Do not deactivate File Access Interface. And finally, JC containers or J containers SE. There is a VR version of that. So download the VR version. Then install the VR version. Let's make sure it's named properly. Alright, and we're going to place it directly after J containers SE. Activate the VR version, deactivate the SE version. Alright. And that should conclude all the Skse finagling that we needed to do to get this to work in Skyrim VR. Alright, now this is what I want you to do. Go ahead and close out Mod Organizer 2, and then load up Skyrim VR through Steam. Get through the initial setup tutorial, you know, the one where you set up your movements and all that. Is that a little starting area with the waterfall in the background? Get through all of that and get to the main menu, and after you get there, exit out of Skyrim VR. Alright, then after you do that, I want you to go into your Mod Organizer folder that you created specifically for Skyrim VR. I named mine Skyrim VR Lexy. You may have named it something else. But what we're going to do is launch Mod Organizer 2 that was specifically installed for Skyrim VR. Then in a drop-down menu here, you'll see now that Skse is available. So choose that, and we're going to create a shortcut to the desktop. So click here, then click on desktop. Okay, now you can close out Mod Organizer 2. And I'm going to change the icon. I don't like that icon. And I'm just going to use the icon for Skyrim Special Edition, whatever. Okay. And then what I want you to do is drag this down to your taskbar and pin it there. That way you could just launch it with a single click. And you'll see how that's valuable when you're trying to launch Skyrim VR through the virtual desktop in Steam VR, or Steam Home rather. So let's go ahead and get rid of that icon. We don't need that anymore. So now what we're going to do is we're going to launch Skyrim VR through this shortcut that we created. But let me warn you real quick. The first 3 times when you launch Skyrim VR through that shortcut, you may have some weird problems. Like for me, the very first time I launched it, Skyrim VR launched as if I had no mods installed whatsoever. And then the second time I launched it, I tried to create a new game, which I did, but instead of loading up alternate start, it loaded up the vanilla opening. It's just really weird stuff. And then the third time it worked, and then every attempt after that, it's fine. For some reason, the first couple startups with Skyrim VR through Mod Organizer 2 just act a little funky for some reason. But don't worry, after the first couple times, it'll be perfect every time after that. And also another warning. Skyrim VR takes a long time to load. When it's fully modded like ours is, it takes a long time to load. So you may think your computer hung, or didn't hang, but you may think the startup hung. Don't worry, just wait. It'll get through. But don't worry, once you're loaded into the game, you know, transitioning between cells and fast traveling will be normal. It'll be fine. It's just that initial startup. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into our VR gear, and I'll see you in Steam Home. All right, here we are in Steam VR. I want to apologize for my microphone quality. I'm using the mic through my Vive Pro, and it's just okay, but it should be serviceable. But anyways, click on your Steam button. And then in this little taskbar down here, click on Desktops. And this is how you're going to launch Skyrim VR. Woo! Trippy, I know. The main thing we're going to be focusing on is a little taskbar here. So here's the shortcut to Skyrim VR. Go ahead and click it. It's just one button press. Okay, and ever since Mod Organizer 2 updated, we get this little message box now. Mod Organizer is waiting on an application to close before exiting. It's not. Anyways, whenever you use the shortcut, this little message box is going to show up. Just click exit now.
and then the game should load. And remember, this is going to take a while. Alright, I'll see you in game. Okay, press any button. Okay, what's annoying is the curator's companion window pops up here. And this is one of the main reasons why we're going to disable this playroom area in the next step after we exit out of Skyrim VR here. But anyways, start a new game. Yes. Now the game is going to hang here as long as this window from the curator's companion is up. So just okay. And then here's Moonlight Tales. Doesn't matter what you choose, just get through it. Alright, now here is race menu, and you'll notice that there is these long bars. Don't worry, this is intended. They're this long to make it a little bit easier for you to make adjustments with your VR controller. But anyways, this doesn't matter. We just want to get through here. So just squeeze your grip button and then press OK. The name doesn't matter, just done. Yeah, click through all those stupid message boxes. Okay, let's get into settings. So open up your menu, go over to settings here, and go into VR performance. Now we're going to leave our quality preset. We're going to set that to high, super sampling, all the way down to the left. We want to turn off dynamic resolution. We're going to leave shadow quality and shadow distance where it's at. We're in occlusion, leave temporal AA on. We're going to deal with the sharpness of the image in the next video, either through our Enb or here's what is called cast sharpening or something. But anyways, next video we're going to worry about that. So leave temporal AA on. Turn off foliage shadows. Okay, right here. Uncheck disable tree lots, and then max out the tree lot distance bar. Okay, for actors fade, set that to about 20%. Same thing with item fade. Object fade, we want that to be about 40%, I would say. Grass fade, we want that all the way maxed out. Really good. And at this point, go into VR, this VR setting here, and set this up to whatever your preference is. Although, I'm going to warn you, physical sneaking, I hope you don't prefer that because we're going to disable that playroom. And by disabling the playroom, you disable physical sneaking. But anyways, set this up to whatever you want. Yeah, I like to turn off this Fov filters. This is meant to help you with like motion sickness or whatever, but I don't get motion sick in VR. So I guess feel free to leave that on. I also turn this all the way down too. Okay, I like realistic bow aiming, but that's me. I don't like realistic swimming. Alright, once you got this all sorted, we can go ahead and exit out of the game.
Okay, now we're going to do additional INI tweaks for Skyrim VR using Skyrim VR Configuration Tool by Dialog. The download link is in the description below. Okay, so we're going to manually download this. Go ahead and save it. Let's open up the download folder. All right. Okay, let's go into Lexy's Legacy of the Dragonborn shortcut. And now let's open up the zip file, and we're just going to drag the tool into the base directory of Lexy's Legacy of the Dragonborn. This doesn't need its own folder. Now let's go and close this out. Now let's launch Mod Organizer 2. The one that's in Lexy's Legacy of the Dragonborn. The initial, very first Mod Organizer 2 that we've been mainly working with. Okay, now we're going to add that tool to Mod Organizer. So, I'm doing it this way. Going to drop down, clicking on Edit. I'm here, clicking on the plus sign, Add from File. And then I'm clicking on Lexy's Legacy of the Dragonborn. And I'm choosing Skyrim Fallout VR Configuration Tool.exe. And I'm opening it. Okay, so it's already named for us, so just click OK. And now let's open it. Scroll down, Skyrim Fallout VR Configuration Tool, and then run. Alright, and here it is. Let's open it up a bit. Alright, this is every single little tweak that we could do in Skyrim VR. But don't worry, we don't need to worry about the majority of that. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do, click on the settings tab up here. And we want to point the INI location to the proper area. We don't want it to go to Documents My Game Skyrim VR because we're using Mod Organizer 2. So let's click the browse button up here. Let's go into our C drive where our Lexy's Legacy of the Dragonborn folder is. Let's go in there. Then let's go into Mod Organizer 2. Then let's go under Profiles. And then in this huge list of profiles that we have here, look for Legacy of the Dragonborn. Enter that. Then click on SkyrimVR.ini and then open. Alright, now let's go back into the main tab. Alright, so most of this is actually personal preference. So the examples that I'm going to show you are what I deem as close to being as universally as accepted, I guess. Alright, all these settings and more can be found here at this INI megathread curated by Rally Eater and Blazy Boy. The link is in the description below. And you can go through this mega thread and you can find all the useful INI tweaks and what they do. But I've got sort of a cheat sheet here for the ones I'm going to show you. First one is a Havoc setting. It deals with the physics in the game. And this setting is tailored toward my specific HMD, my specific headset, which is the Vive Pro. And the Vive Pro has a 90 Hz refresh rate. So for settings for your specific headset are probably listed here in this mega thread. Like for instance, the original Oculus Rift, the Rift S, the Index, and so on. But anyways, this is for a 90 Hz refresh rate. And to make these changes, what you would do here is up here in the filter, you would type in the name of the tweak that you're going to change here. So for instance, F max time. And here it is right here. This is the current value, and that's the default value. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to match that right there. So 0.01111, enter. And now F max time complex. So that should be here as well. Here's F max time complex. Here's the current value, and here's the default. So I'm going to change it to that right there. So I'm double clicking. 0.02222, enter. Alright. So the next setting I'm going to show you is Be Always Show Hands. This is required so that Vr works correctly. And this does exactly what it does. Your hands always show instead of a floating weapon. It'll be, you know, your hands holding the weapon. So to change that, I'm going to Be Always show. There it is right there. Always show hands. Default, it's off, but so we're going to turn it on. So double click on it. 1, enter. B, allow VR cheating. I think most people would actually want to use this. By default in the game, if you approach an NPC too closely or you walk into a wall, you get this weird jarring effect where you get pushed back. So what this does is makes it so you could approach something as close as you want, and you could even stick your head to the wall. Hence the reason why it's called VR cheating. But anyways, I can't play the game without this because those bump backs are very annoying. So typing B, allow VR, there it is. B, allow VR cheating. So setting that to 1. So load VR Playroom. What this does, instead of loading up that area where that startup area, you know, with the waterfall in the background and everything and all that. And where we had those issues where, you know, for instance, the curator's companion had a pop-up window and then and Moonlight Tales and etc. Well, by doing this, you'll avoid that situation. It'll take you instead to that default main menu that you get in Skyrim Special Edition, where you get your new game, continue, and all that. And also by using this, by disabling it, you also disable physical sneak. So you may want to think about that. So let's go and change that. So B, load VR. There's Playroom. Default is 1, changing it to 0. Okay, next up, F dialog menu scale. It does what it says. This is going to scale down the size of the menu, the dialog menu that shows up, so it's just a little bit smaller. So let's do that. F dialog menu scale. There it is. It's set to 35 by default. I'm going to set it to 25. All right, F activate rollover wand scale. What this is whenever you hold, your hand over, like say a door, and you get the door message, or you hover your hand over an item and you get the item name or whatever. This is actually going to scale down that text so it's not so huge and doesn't take over so much of your field of view. So F activate roll over wand scale. 30 is default. I'm setting it to 10. All right, activate rollover wand Y and all this. I don't know what that precisely is. I don't even know why that's here. Okay. So now F shield linear velocity threshold and F melee linear velocity threshold. That is the amount of force necessary for your weapon to register as a hit in game. I like to tweak this, otherwise it is way too easy to accidentally hit someone. So typing in F shield linear threshold right here. It's at the 1.5. Yeah, that's where you barely move your hand and you could hit, you could hit someone. So I'm setting this to 3. But this is something you might want to tweak. You may find that you want to swing harder or maybe not as hard to register those hits. For me, 3 is pretty good. Then F melee linear velocity threshold. It's set to 2. I'm setting it to 3.5. Okay, and then B, use one directional movement. The way how the game originally set up is the direction you're pointing your wand is the direction you're going to walk. By setting it to 0, the direction you're looking is going to be based on where your headset is facing. It's going to determine the direction you're walking, and that in this setting feels more natural. And I think most people would agree with that. So B, use wand. There it is. Set to 1. We're going to set it to 0. All right. And all you have to do is exit out. It automatically saves. Every time you hit enter, the setting is automatically set for you. Okay, that's it for the examples of how to use the Skyrim Fallout VR configuration tool. And that is also going to conclude this video. In the next video, we're going to start installing some more mods. Skyrim VR specific mods, to be more precise. I will catch you guys in the next video.